What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI TV. Bit of a different background here. Was planning on doing this video with the lads. We didn't really get around to it, but just said I'd just jump on and quickly record starting 11 prediction and a scoreline prediction as well for the game with Luxembourg tomorrow. Took a day to reflect on the Serbia game. Obviously, you're going to feel quite heated after the match and a bit emotional after the game. On the whole, I was quite impressed. I like the formation. People have been criticising the formation a little bit, but for me, I think I did like it. It was something different, and I think if we had been playing it in the games last year, that we were playing a kind of 4-3-3, if we were playing this formation then, we'd be more adapted and more suited to it now, and I think that would have been beneficial for us. So it's going to take time for the team to adapt to the formation change, but overall I was happy with it. I think it suits the players that we have available to us, and it gets a lot of the players, our best players, into the side, the likes of having Coleman and Doherty both in the starting 11, which I think is crucial. So I think it is a good first step for the formation and moving forward. Maybe Anthony Barry had an impact, obviously working with Timmy Tuchel over with Chelsea. Anthony Barry could have had an effect on Stephen Kenny's thinking and said we need to get these players in these areas of the pitch, and you could see there were times when we did threaten Serbia, and obviously the first goal, Callum Robinson on the left hand side, great bit of skill, great bomb to the box, and Alan Brown with a fantastic header, and 1-0 up, and that's so weird to see a score a goal, didn't it? It was a strange feeling, but kind of one of those where we've seen over the last couple of years where whenever we go in front we drop off, and that kind of happened again. Maybe it's natural because they do have top players. Your Dusan Tadic kind of ran the show for the 90 really, a couple of levels above. There was nice partnerships developing. I really liked Cullen and Malumbi in the middle of the park. I think that could be one looking forward that could be really, really good. Jason Knight obviously coming into that equation as well. But yeah, overall I wasn't overly disheartened. I've seen a lot of people giving Kenny grief online and giving out online and stuff, and this can't, like people saying that it's a work in progress in 8 years, 10 years time, whereas I'm thinking it's one game. The campaign isn't over. We lost to Serbia away, which isn't, we would have liked to have gotten a draw, but we lost 3-2 to Serbia away. Portugal could easily lose to Serbia, and I think so. Portugal only beat, I know it's a big ask for us to get anything in any of the Portugal games, but Portugal only beat Azerbaijan by 1-0. It's over 90 minutes. It's a game, 11v11. Anything can happen in those matches. And Portugal are always inconsistent in qualifying and sometimes in group stages. Obviously, their squad is phenomenal, but they're always a little bit inconsistent. And a lot of star-studded players to get into the side. And you can't write. I think I could see Serbia taking points off Portugal. I think we could definitely do it in one of the games. So yeah, I don't think we need to write this campaign off. So much football yet to play. We do need to beat Luxembourg on Saturday, though. That is a must for Kenny. He needs that first win just to get that monkey off his back, just to kind of ease the pressure ever so slightly. He still hasn't won a game, of course, so just getting that in the win column going into the Qatar game, maybe if he can get a result there, that little bit of positivity. Then we don't have a game till September, I think, isn't it? So that bit of positivity over the summer with those couple of wins, if we can have that, I think going into September we can be very confident. Hopefully, obviously 12 injuries for this camp or whatever it is, so we get a lot of those players back into the side. Nothing to be afraid of in any of the games, I don't think. But obviously I think they'll have Portugal away in one of the first games in September, which obviously it's kind of nothing to lose in it. So the 3-5-2 will be a little bit more suited to it. I think we should definitely stick with it for the Luxembourg game, stick with it for the Qatar game, keep working on it, and that's going to be more embedded into the players' minds, and they're going to be knowing where to be playing on the pitch. And you could see that they were still getting used to it, and it's a huge change from what they were used to before. Playing in the Irish setup, so it is going to take that bit of time to adapt to it, but a lot of positives, and I think a lot of people were calling out for that formation for a while, so it was good to see Kenny being brave with that, and he was brave in a lot of his selections. The Shane Duffy call was a huge one, and it probably was the wrong one in hindsight. Easy to say it in hindsight. I did actually say in our starting 11 prediction video that I would have gone with Duffy just for that aerial presence in both boxes, going forward and defensively as well, and we were a little bit caught out with Clark and O'Shea a little bit weak in the air, and Mitrovic's goal was great header, but definitely avoidable if potentially avoidable. Shane Duffy's on the pitch, and the first goal as well was just clipped in and around the box, flicked on. So yeah, a Duffy type character could have dealt with that better. I do think against Luxembourg though, stick with that same back three. We'll get on to my starting 11 in a minute or two. But last thing on the Serbia game, I suppose, Mark Travers, hopefully, I don't, is he getting much stick online? I hope he isn't. He's such a young kid, and being thrown in like that, it was such a difficult one for him. And who always was going to be playing against top class players, and you don't make even a slight positional mistake without being punished. And you could just see Mitrovic's finish was really, really Premier League striker you'd expect it, but really, really like elite level. Just you don't get away with anything. So he hasn't played much football recently either. Obviously being recalled from Bournemouth, so it is a tricky one for him. And if people are giving him stick online, they need to get a grip, because it's not his fault. He did his best. That's all you can ask for him to do. So yeah, just little small positional things that he'll improve on. Moving on to the starting 11, that's a good segue into it, I suppose. He should definitely start against Luxembourg. I think Bazunu get a run out against Qatar, definitely. But I think stick with Travers, hopefully get a clean sheet, and that'll do his confidence the world of good for upcoming games. Maybe getting into the Ireland side might improve his chances at club level as well with Bournemouth, so hopefully he can get a clean sheet and feel really positive about himself after these internationals. As I said before then as well, I would stick with the same back three. I wouldn't bring Duffy in for this. I would have had Duffy against Serbia at the heart of the back three, just to deal with that, the aerial balls coming in, because we're always going to have to deal with a lot of pressure. But against Luxembourg, I think we'll be on the front foot. Of course, Darragh O'Shea and Clark are better on the ball. Then Duffy, of course, Coleman is in the squad no matter what. So yeah, I'd go the back three of Seamus Coleman on the right, Darragh O'Shea in the middle, and Kieran Clark on that left hand side. Then the wing backs is similar enough as well. You have to stick with Enda Stevens and Matt Doherty, both playing in their probably their natural positions now as well. They play their best football there really for their clubs when they are in those areas of the pitch, have that bit of a license to get forward. So yeah, I'd stick with the same wing backs. In terms of the midfield pairing then, it's a tricky one. Molumby and Cullen definitely did really, really well and put in a good case for themselves to start this match. My only question would be, Molumby ran his socks off. He looked knackered coming off the pitch after 60, 70 minutes, whatever it was. Does he need to maybe rest? The games are in very close proximity with each other. Maybe get a Jason Knight in instead of Molumby if he's absolutely knackered. But if Molumby's good to go, I'd play him with Cullen in there. And maybe Alan Brown and Jason Knight then battling for that place in front of those two. But I do think it will go to Robbie Brady. We didn't see him start against Serbia. I think it's probably the right call, because you're not going to get 2 starts out of Robbie Brady in a couple of days' time within the games. Like, it's not going to happen. Brady, we all know about Brady's injury problem, so you're not going to get him playing 2 games in a space of 3 or 4 days. It's not going to happen. So off the bench against Serbia to give us that little bit of quality the last 20-25 if he got on the ball. Didn't really do much when he came on, but definitely has that ability. So a Luxembourg team who's going to sit deep, get Brady in that number 10 position, get him on the ball, he can break them down. I think that's the right call from Kenny. Brown probably gets around the pitch better than Brady would, so maybe having him against Serbia was definitely the right call. And then a game against the likes of a Luxembourg, having Brady on that pitch for that quality to break down, like it maybe a 2 banks of 4 or whatever it will be, is the right call, definitely. One player I absolutely do not want to see is Jeff Hendrick. I don't want to keep hating on him. He gets a lot of stick already, but he is terrible. How is he a Premier League footballer? How on earth is he a Premier League footballer? The mind does kind of boggle a little bit when you start thinking about it. He came on against I saw some people saying we went down to 10 men when he came on against Serbia, which is funny. The difference when he came onto the pitch, though, you could really tell, he doesn't offer anything. He doesn't really get around the pitch as much as you'd like. He doesn't really do much on the ball. He gives it away. He's a little rash, as he's got the red card there in one of his previous Ireland games. He's just a really poor footballer. I don't know what's happened to him. Maybe it's a confidence issue. Maybe it's something they're playing in a terrible Newcastle side. But ever since the Euros, he hasn't done it for me in an Ireland jersey. So yeah, for me, Hendrick, if he's anywhere near that starting 11, we're already worried, I think. So I would go with Molumby and Cullen if they're fit. And then I'd go Robbie Brady in front in the 10, and give them that freedom to kind of move to the left, move to the right, get balls into the box, playing through balls, 1-2s. I'd definitely like to see Brady in that area and see what he can do. Moving into the front 2 then, yeah, Callum Robinson definitely deserves to start after his performance against Serbia. I thought he did really, really well. That ball he put in for Alan Brown was superb. Really, really nice piece of skill. Got around the player, got a little bit of space for himself, hung it up in the air really nicely, and it was a really good header from Brown, of course. So yeah, Callum Robinson definitely starts from me, and it's just a question mark of who he starts alongside. I thought Aaron Connolly quite enough, but definitely should have had a penalty. People kind of questioning his attitude a little bit when he loses the ball and he kind of throws a bit of a tantrum or whatever, and yeah, you can kind of see where they're coming from with that. I'd be tempted to start Connolly. In fairness, I would be tempted to start him. I think definitely get the better of a Luxembourg defender in terms of pace, and hopefully would take a chance if he got one. But Shane Long looked good, and when he came on, James Collins got his goal. Shane Long did really well for that, just knocking it around the keeper. So you maybe look at one of those two to play alongside Robinson. If the Luxembourg defence is going to be really sitting deep, having that kind of more of an aerial threat in a Long or a Collins gives you the option of crossing the ball in if nothing else is really on, or if we're just putting on a lot of pressure. So yeah, maybe I'd go for a Shane Long over Connolly just starting off, but it is a tough one. I think you might stick with Connolly, but I think I'd probably go with a Shane Long and a Callum Robinson up top and see how we get on with that. Maybe just for that holding the ball up, Shane Long, and it gives you that extra option if you do need to go long. Hopefully we don't need to go long against Luxembourg, because it was something I was really liking against Serbia. There was really nice patterns of play, and there was nice movement to the ball. I thought we moved it really well at times, so to see that is definitely an improvement, and it's great to see compared to what we've seen over the last couple of decades, really. So yeah, there is a real culture change from Kenny, and it is going to take a while, of course it is, but I don't think people writing off this campaign, don't write it off just yet. See how the Luxembourg game goes. If we don't win the Luxembourg game, you can write off the campaign, fair enough, we'll write off the campaign, but beat Luxembourg and see where we go from there. But yeah, just jumping into a quick score prediction, I'll probably go with I want to go 3 or 4, but I think it'll probably only be a 2 realistically. And listen, Luxembourg will come. It's their first game of the qualifying campaign, so they'll be raring to get going. So you could see them putting up a bit of a fight, and if you can get an early goal, maybe we'll get hit a 3 or a 4-0. But I just think it'll be 2. I think Travers would be great for him to get a clean sheet. If you can keep that, give the whole back 5, back 3, whatever you want to call it, a huge boost. And of course Travers would be great for him to get it after the rough night against Serbia. So yeah, I'd love to get a clean sheet, and I think I'm going to go for a 2-0 Ireland win. But make sure to let me know what scoreline you think it's going to be down in the comments below, and let me know your starting 11 down in the comments below. And also while you're there, you may as well let me know what you thought of the Serbia game, because I thought on the whole there was definitely a lot of positives to take from it. I do hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like on it. If we can hit 50 likes, that would be greatly appreciated. And while you're there, you may as well subscribe. We're on the road to 3k, so it is greatly appreciated if you can do that. Enjoy the game, guys. Talk to you in a bit.